2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. "30 seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Friday, man. We made it. We made it to the end of the week. I know you're excited about it. I'm excited about it. There is plenty to talk about today because what a week it has been. Sometimes, man, you just need to take a breather. Just reset after a wild week that we've gone through, which really has not been anything of a surprise over the past year under the Trump administration. All in good form, but it's been wild to watch. Welcome into the show. Great to have you here. It is the Friday, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station. We are all over the country. So many great radio affiliates doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the program. Interesting news pieces today, too. I'm trying to wrap my head around some of it. King Charles apparently going to meet Zoran Mamdani. That is going to happen next week as they go and give tribute to the 9/11 memorial in Washington or in New York City. And of course, Zoran wants to be there to meet King Charles because, well, progressives like progressives, right? So that's going to happen next week. And the media, all a buzz about it. Did you hear Mamdani's going to meet King Charles? Oh my gosh! Apparently that's really exciting. Before we go anywhere, I do want to give our thoughts and prayers to those down in the state of Oklahoma, the Enid, Oklahoma area. The tornado, for those that don't know, a massive tornado swept through the area. Not just a tornado. If you've seen the video, and we shared a portion of it on our social media pages from Fox News, where it was a tornado and then a mini tornado going around the tornado. That's kind of wild, and that went through the little town of Enid, Oklahoma. We have some great listeners down there through some radio stations in our podcast. We are going to have one of our longtime listeners give us an update as he lives in Enid. He is okay, and he's been doing recovery efforts for all day long today down in that area. Ways that you can help out if you want to support individuals who have been affected by the tornado down in Oklahoma. And this really does reinforce the idea that, hey, did we not say it? We called it on this program a couple of days ago. FEMA, we need the funding. Department of Homeland Security. Democrats have now put the lives of people in harm's way by not funding Department of Homeland Security because they want to play this game with Immigration and Customs Enforcement by keeping FEMA dry to where they're not able to properly respond to these issues. We have I don't know, 15 different wildfires in Nebraska right now. We had a tornado in Oklahoma. We had a mini tornado here in Kansas last night. There's severe weather across the board. We're in a severe drought conditions, high winds, the warmer temperatures, wildfires across the board. We have a situation. And Democrats are playing the game by saying, we don't want to fund immigration enforcement because we want it to shut down. And that's the game they're playing, and they're willing to put people in harm's way by not having these funds available. So we'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. Great listener Scott down from the Enid, Oklahoma area, he's going to call in as from the recovery efforts and give us an update of what the heck's going on down there. So we'll get to that in just a bit. Plus, Emma Sarah McMillan will be on the program, bottom of the hour. She is the founder of the Mother of Change Foundation as we talk about child trafficking and are we getting any better, and ways as a parent, as a family unit, ways that we can protect our children from the issues of online trafficking, from human trafficking and physical trafficking, from kidnapping and so much more. So ways that we can protect ourselves as a family, as parents, as grandparents on what the heck we can do. So we'll get to all that coming up at the bottom of the hour. That being said, a lot going on in Washington, D.C. today.
What's trending today?
And there's some more information coming out on the reconciliation bill that passed the Senate yesterday morning after the overnight votes that happened on Wednesday night. And if this is true, which I find really kind of interesting because 0 Democrats voted for it, 2 Republicans voted against it, along with the Democrats, but it passed with a 50-48 vote. If what we think is in this bill is really in the bill, I am ashamed, and we need to point and do the shaming of Republicans to actually allow that to happen. So we'll talk about that in just a moment, but there are some polls out there. Now, show of hands on a Friday. How many of you actually believe in the polls that go on in this nation? Do you believe them with the small portion of people that actually get surveyed and then be like, this is where America stands? Do you believe that with the way the polling is done nowadays? I don't know that we do. I don't know that we do. And the question on this one is really kind of the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. We're just going to throw it out there. Here's what the poll shows according to Newsmax TV. They say that 77% of registered Republicans registered voters, not just Republicans, registered voters in this latest nationwide poll show that Donald Trump bears at least a fair amount of responsibility for the recent rise in gas prices.
Say what?
I know. Now, imagine, if you will, running a poll to even ask that question. We know that the government and Donald Trump is responsible for the increase in gas prices, not because Donald Trump's just like, hey, I'm going to raise gas prices, but because of the conflict in Iran that we chose to get involved in. We know the underlying factor for it. So why would we do a poll to be like, do you blame Donald Trump for this? It's a psychological warfare, the warfare on the mind that we have to deal with all the time because they're trying to, of course, pass blame to Donald Trump going into midterm elections. Republicans want a war. Donald Trump wants uncertainty in the economy. He's destroyed us with tariffs, and he's destroyed us with the economy, and he's destroyed us with high gas prices and everything else. They're trying to create the fear tactics here, the hysteria, the paranoia, but that is, at least in my opinion, probably one of the dumbest poll questions I've ever heard. Do you blame Donald Trump for the gas prices that we're seeing right now? We know that he's involved with it, and Donald Trump's openly said that most of us, or he thinks that a lot of us, are willing to pay higher gas prices temporarily to ensure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Now, as you know, we're going into the time of negotiation. We're going back to Turkey. Apparently, Iran at some point in the next couple of days are planning to give their proposal on the peace to move forward. We still have uncertainty in the Strait of Hormuz, so we're not sure whether it's open, whether it's not open, what Iran's trying to do. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's led to the barrels of oil being over $100, which means gas prices right now nationally, I think, are at $4.05. That's not good. That's not good. But of course, that's due to the decisions made right now with the foreign policy and the Trump administration. That doesn't mean that we're angry with Trump. That just means that we recognize what the factors are here. So the question itself is really kind of dumb. The views widely shared across political spectrums, according to Newsmax, 55% of Republican voters, 82% of independents, and 95% of Democrats pin the blame on the president for the higher costs overall. Now, this is in lieu of, and I want to preface this because the Financial Post posted a survey as well on consumer sentiment. And the consumer sentiment apparently is at a low, even though consumer spending is still a constant. We haven't seen a drop in overall spending in the economy, but the the consistency and the favorability of the economy is on the downward trend with the consumer sentiment. And before we read the numbers, I ask you where you get your favoritism or your favorability of the economy in general. It's usually from the economists that are telling you whether your economy is doing good or not, right? I mean, we can see the price in the grocery store, the price at the pump, the price of goods that we purchase, which has not slowed down consumer spending. In fact, the same amount of purchases are happening across the nation now than what they were just a year ago when Trump first took office and we started getting the economy on track. So consumer spending has not slowed, but the confidence in the economy is going down. And the only reason the confidence is going down is because people tell you not to be confident in the economy. Which is, again, really kind of stupid. So they tell you it's bad, and then you start to believe that it's bad, and then they report that people think that it's actually bad. This is the game that's played by the progressives and the mainstream media, again, especially going into an election season. According to the University of Michigan's final April sentiment index dropping to 49.8 this month from the 53.3 that was in March, which was the slight improved for the preliminary reading. It remained lower, the lowest that it's recorded in its data back to 1978. So there you have it. Mainstream media scaring you and then telling you that you're scared by reporting it on the news after telling you that you should be scared. So it's the cycle, the hamster wheel that we're on in society because we continue to believe these talking heads when all we need to do is get rid of that kind of rhetoric and just pay attention to what the end goal is. And there's either two things going on. Either we're really, really, really gullible because the experts, and I say that in air quotes, tell us to be scared and then believe when they tell us that the polls show that we're actually scared, or we just don't understand the long-term goals of what's being done. And we're truly in a society of instant gratification where we say, I don't care how corrupt people are. I don't care how bad things get. I don't care the threats that we have around the world. I really don't care. I never want you to rock the boat. I want to stay in my comfy little corner here. I want the economy to never be upset by changing the way we do things. I just want it to be as is, and I'll just adjust that way because I always want the certainty. I never want uncertainty. And even if we're trying to make the system better in the long term, I don't want that because I don't want to have to go through that growing pain. And if that's the case of society, man, we're in a world of hurt. We're in a world of hurt for sure. All right, that being said, I want to get to Congress for just a moment here.
What's trending today?
You know, yesterday we talked about the reconciliation bill from Congress and what they've been working on with that reconciliation. The marathon voting that happened late on Wednesday night, the Senate ended up passing it with a 50-48 vote. No Democrats voted for the reconciliation. 2 Republicans, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, voted with Democrats to vote against the reconciliation bill, and now it's sitting over in the House where they begin reforming and doing their framework for what this reconciliation bill may look like. Now, that being said, if this is true, according to Senator Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri that was speaking on the Senate floor about what was in this bill, I'm curious on why it was included in there. I can't even see that. I was going to say, I'm sure that Republicans were trying to say it was going to win Democrats over to vote for the reconciliation bill. Obviously, that didn't happen. So if they didn't vote for it, then why did we include it in the first place? Josh Hawley saying that there's some interesting things in here.
Simple and direct question. Should we use federal tax dollars to pay for transgender surgeries and treatments for minor children? More specifically, should we divert money from Medicaid, a program that is dedicated to the most needy among us, and use it instead to pay for risky, dangerous, irreversible transgender drugs and surgeries for minor children? Because, Madam President, that's what's been happening. For years, outfits like Planned Parenthood have gotten billions of dollars from Medicaid and Medicare, billions of dollars taken from the elderly, from the poor, from the needy, paid out to them, which they can then use for transgender surgeries, treatments, drugs for minor children. They proudly advertise it on their websites. One recent study found that in 3 years alone, Planned Parenthood got $1.5 billion.
All right. If this is in the bill, that is extremely concerning that a Republican reconciliation bill would reallocate funds from Medicaid, which, by the way, Medicaid a statewide program in different states, but if they did the Medicaid expansion, being essentially reimbursed by the federal government at a rate of 90% reimbursement rate. Those that have not expanded Medicaid, they're not getting quite that as much, but at the same time, essentially a statewide program that's being funded by the federal government so the states can get the money and then just give you statewide universal health care. It's really kind of dumb. I don't think we should be doing that, but here we are. But reallocating some of that Medicaid funding for transgender operations, hormone blockers, and other things for transgender movements for minors, funded by your taxpayer money and the federal government. Now, conservatives and Republicans say that we're against manipulating and mutilating minors, that we are against the funding of Planned Parenthood, which is what we did after the One Big Beautiful Bill, getting rid of a lot of that funding for Planned Parenthood, saying that, hey, if you're going to operate as a private entity, you need to operate as a private entity, and we're not going to fund you, especially because of how you perform abortions. But then focusing on the transgender operations, hormone blockers, and different therapies for minors in this bill. A Republican reconciliation bill where, according to Senator Josh Hawley, this is included in the final version of this bill. If this is true, this is extremely concerning. We got lots more to get to. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON. As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
And yes, as for tomorrow night, I hope that we will see all of you there. I know the president is very much looking forward to it. I think it's quite fitting that in our nation's 250th year, the most transparent and accessible president will be attending the White House Correspondents' Center for the first time. And his speech will be very entertaining. That is what I will tell you. So everyone should tune in.
All right, so Caroline Levitt, that was talking to the press earlier today. The Correspondents' Dinner tomorrow, this weekend. We'll cover some of that on our weekend program, so stay tuned in for that one. Cannot wait to hear what that's going to be. Look, Donald Trump doesn't have to worry about re-election. He can just kind of go off the rails and do his thing, which he already kind of does. But I'm excited to see what that one looks like. And by the way, Caroline Levitt now stepping aside for a while as she's expected in the next week to have child number 2. So congratulations to the family and our prayers and well wishes to them. That is exciting. Yeah. All right, let's shift gears a little bit here, shall we? And I want to go to our phone line.
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
As you know, there were some pretty wild storms moving through the Mid-America region the last couple of days. A mini tornado here in Kansas last night. A larger, much larger tornado down in Oklahoma, especially in the Enid, Oklahoma area, all right, within our listening range of our flagship station. And one of our great listeners who's been a great friend for a while, and he's been listening to the show for a very long time, well before our syndication of this program, from Enid, Oklahoma, where they got hit pretty hard. He's been in recovery mode all day long today. Listener Scott with us here. Scott, first and foremost, I'm glad you're doing okay. Thank you for coming on the show with me, man. What the heck's going on down there?
Well, I want to thank you also for initiating contact and actually trying to make sure that we're okay down here and to reach out and see if there's anything you guys can do. That means a lot. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah. I mean, as soon as I heard that it was going towards Enid, I thought of you right away. And, man, I'm glad that you didn't get hit okay, but I know that that's for those that don't know, a small little town in the state of Oklahoma. I don't know how big that tornado was scale-wise, an F3 maybe, I'm guessing. But from the videos I've seen, Fox News carried it. It looked like a pretty wild one.
Well, the last I saw on the National Weather Service, they were posting that they saw at least EF3 damage.
Wow.
From the National Weather Service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a big one. Talk about what you've seen today. I know that you're a rock star. You've been in recovery mode, helping people out as much as you can all day today. What kind of damage have you seen that's been down there?
Well, there's a small little neighborhood right next to Vance Air Force Base. The tornado actually touched down on the base and did a little bit of damage there. Then it crossed Highway 81 to the east, and it destroyed Gray Ridge Estates, a small little neighborhood in there. Just absolutely leveled it. And then after that, it went through the landfill, or at least near there, picked up a lot of major large debris, caused a big mess. Those big dumpsters, those big metal dumpsters I saw sitting in trees across the street.
Yeah.
And it had about a 10-mile path. But on the good side, there were some injuries, but praise God, there were no fatalities.
No
Absolutely
fatalities.
None.
Good. That is really
That's
good news.
the main thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good news. Scott, we got about a minute here, but tell people if they want to help out, if they want to donate resources, donate funds to try and help recovery efforts, how do you know, are they able to do so right now?
Well, I just got back from visiting the people at the center here. The people in the Enid area need to go to the Chisholm Trail Expo Center. There that you can give donations, or you can accept donations, or any kind of help there. They got food, they got cots, they got medical service, they got everything there. And people outside of the area, in the Wichita area and other areas, they said that they're putting the final touches on an official statement right now. They want to make sure they don't want to put anything out ahead of time and get things wrong. They want to make sure they get it right.
Sure.
So as soon as that statement comes out, I'll send that to you, and you can go ahead and post that. I really appreciate everybody up there that wants to help.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll relay that information as soon as we get any, and people can reach out to the Chisholm Trail Resource Center down in Eden, Oklahoma, and get some information that way as well. All over the country where we're broadcasting right now, I know people are going to want to help out with that one. So, Scott, thank you, my friend. God bless you. Thank you for doing all that recovery efforts, helping people out. Let's get an update from you again here soon, brother.
Will do. Thank you and your listeners. Appreciate you.
Hey, you betcha. Appreciate that very much. Listener Scott, longtime listener to the program, great friend, and I'm glad he's all right, and the recovery efforts continue. We'll shift gears. Our next guest on the program right around the corner. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
All right, welcome back into the program. Great to have you here for a Friday, setting that tone for the weekend, my friends. You made it. Pat yourself on the back. You scream, I scream, we all scream for the weekend. Yeah, you thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? No, that's all right. Welcome into the show. Great to have you. If you want to find more on the show, you can at our website, HooserReason.com, HOOSER reason.com. We have some really exciting news coming up the next few days over the next week, so stay tuned in for those. First, I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. As you know, with Congress back in action, it is time for us to work on health care reform in this nation, and you need to be part of that movement as well. I want you to go to a website, personaloption.com. Very simple, completely free, personaloption.com. Get signed up. It is the layout of what we can do, the framework of how we can actually create better health care coverage for yourself, for your family, for your business, whoever it may be, by getting rid of Obamacare, by creating more competition in the market, more private options across the market, and giving you the better opportunity to lower prices, raise quality, which is what free markets do, what laissez-faire capitalism does, and Americans for Prosperity are on it. Go to personaloption.com, personaloption.com with our friends over at AFP. Let's get Congress to actually do some health care reform. I know they're busy with a reconciliation bill that seems a little strange, but you can do it with Americans for Prosperity and personaloption.com. And I'm sorry, I'm still just reeling over the whole FEMA thing right now. We have limited funds in FEMA, obviously with the tornado, talking to listener Scott off the air a little bit as well, with some pretty hard-hit areas leveling out particular communities. It was in short spurts, and I mean, obviously that's what tornadoes do. They move through one particular area and just wipe everything out in its path, but we need the resources. If you can help out, again, we'll get information. Stay tuned for the program over the next few days as they are accepting resources, blankets, food, money, whatever it may be, and you can help out with that. We'll have that information. You can also follow the Chisholm Trail Resource Center in Enid, Oklahoma for any resources as they may come out with information on that as well. We'll get some more updates from him very soon. All right, Emma Sarah not able to jump on the program yet. We'll see if we can't get her on before the end of the program, but I want to go back to, because this was going to tie in with what she was going to talk about anyways, the child trafficking, the human trafficking, ways to protect our children. There are some major issues going on, and if this is part of the reconciliation bill right now,
what's trending today?
I am a little bit concerned. Senator Josh Hawley making a statement on the Senate floor again just yesterday after the vote, saying that he's extremely concerned about what was in this.
Simple and direct question. Should we use federal tax dollars to pay for transgender surgeries and treatments for minor children? More specifically, should we divert money from Medicaid, a program that is dedicated to the most needy among us, and use it instead to pay for risky, dangerous, irreversible transgender drugs and surgeries for minor children? Because, Madam President, that's what's been happening.
All right, so that is apparently what happened in this reconciliation bill. After the passage of this bill as well, Senator Josh Hawley did submit a letter to Speaker Mike Johnson on the House side, encouraging him to remove this, saying, quote, "Last night, the Senate rejected my efforts to ban taxpayer-funded transgender treatments for minor children. The ball is now in your court. If the House fails to act immediately as part of the reconciliation, billions of federal dollars will go to Planned Parenthood and other medical providers," he says that in air quotes, "for hormones, puberty blockers, and irreversible treatments for minor children. This is unconscionable. Not a dollar of federal tax money should be used for this purpose. I urge you to act without delay." Look, I mean, this is a Republican bill. And the fact that we would include something like that in a Republican bill. Now, remember, Planned Parenthood, the abortion funding from taxpayer money has already been removed by the One Big Beautiful bill last year. And it sounds like whatever agents are going on within the government want to start slowly reverting back to this and do it under the radar in a reconciliation bill, slip it in there, pass it to see what's in it. And that's Republicans would be advocating for something like that, and it's really kind of concerning. There are some super PACs that are pushing back on this issue and other issues as well right now as we go into election season. According to Newsmax, there's a new super PAC that is called the the Homeland Political Action Committee, a new conservative political PAC that is targeting Republican members of Congress in the primaries who have supported certain immigration reform legislation, giving amnesty to illegal aliens in the nation. There's also other PACs that are focusing more so on issues like this, on why we would allow the transgender operations for minors to be funded through the federal government, and especially diverting money away from the Medicaid purposes. Now, Medicaid and Medicare being a federal program, Medicaid being a statewide program, but essentially being funded by the federal government, so you can still quasi call it a federal program as well. First off, don't need to be there in the first place. I think they all need, at least this is my opinion, this is in the dream fantasy land of Andy right now, that all of that should be done at a statewide level. There shouldn't be a federal program for these. That's another conversation for another time. But especially to divert money away from these programs when we're already calling them bankrupt to fund another program is kind of insane to me. Doesn't make a lot of sense. There was a headline. I'm not sure if you saw this from Fox News. They actually had a report yesterday, or was it today, about a family that was trying to forcefully, at least one member of the family, trying to forcefully transition their child by sending them down to Cuba.
So a wild and frankly disturbing story out of the state of Utah. A transgender woman and her partner are accused of kidnapping her child, allegedly to go take her to Cuba and get gender reassignment surgery. Madeline Rivera live in Washington with more on this. Maddie, what do we know?
Hey, good morning, Bill. So the case prompted the Justice Department to send a government plane to Cuba to bring the 10-year-old child back to the U.S. Federal officials say the child's biological father, Rose Inessa Ethington, who's now a transgender woman, and her partner took the 10-year-old for what was supposed to be a camping trip in Alberta, Canada, late last month. But they never made it to their hotel or campground. Instead, after crossing the Canadian border, the couple allegedly flew from Vancouver to Mexico City. Then they took another flight from Mexico to Havana. All of this happening, by the way, without the knowledge and permission of the child's biological mother.
All right. Hold on. Is this like a Florida man story? Because that is probably one of the most wild stories I've ever seen. A father and mother, the father now transitioning to a female, which Fox News did the whole pronoun thing wrongly because they identified him as a her. But nonetheless, the father that is now transitioned to a wannabe female and his partner were supposed to take the daughter to Vancouver. Went to Vancouver for vacation, but instead flew from there down to Cuba, kidnapped the child from the biological mother who had no idea about any of this, and then tried to forcefully transition the child into a transgender as well, because that's the mindset of what that parent was wanting to do. That is probably one of the most insane stories I've ever heard in my life. Like, what the heck, man? And this shows the mental health issue that we have in this nation. To not, if you want to do it yourself, again, we don't care. We've said that many times before. That's not our business. Do your thing, right? We don't care anymore. Yeah, that's where we're at on that one. Now, don't force it on me and expect me to try to, coddle you with your feelings here and your emotions and your delusion. But if you want to feel that way, all the power to you. We don't care. But to forcefully transition a minor and kidnap the child is an entirely different story. And that's kind of wild. And here's the thing, and this is where I struggle with the election for the midterms. This is still the social issues, the transgender thing, the victimization, the identity politics, the race warfare that we have, the class warfare that we have, all of these divisions that Democrats love to do, and especially these DEI and social program focuses that they want to focus on with all this identity crap. This is still their number one issue. They don't have anything else yet for the midterm still. They can't run on the economy, although I guess supposedly the polls show that now Democrats are more favorable in the polls for the economic issues compared to Republicans. I don't see that actually happening. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's what, according to some of the polls, say. I don't believe them. I'll believe that when I actually see it. But right now they don't have much of a platform to run on. So they double down on the social issues and social issues like this. And imagine, if you will, while that's been resoundingly rejected by the majority of Americans, Republicans, Democrats, Independents alike, it's been very unpopular, even among Democrats. You're like, we've kind of pushed the envelope just a little bit too far. That's where they doubled down, and that for some reason in the midterm elections, that we are battling for our life as Republicans to try and maintain a majority. With that being the number one issue for Democrats, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I guess we'll see that when it happens in November, and the media's not going to focus on it. They're going to talk about the economy. They're going to talk about Donald Trump being bad. Obviously, the consumer sentiment that, as we mentioned, that they tell us to be scared, and then they run a poll, and we're scared, and they report that we're scared, and therefore Donald Trump's bad. They blame Donald Trump for the high gas prices and for the conflict in Iran and so on and so forth. Also, I get they're going to focus on that. But the party itself, the candidates themselves running on the campaign trail and campaigning on this stuff, and we're in a battle for our life to maintain the majority, that's kind of weird to me. At the same time, we are trying to actually bring transparency to this issue, and I will give credit to Kash Patel, the FBI, our Department of Justice. We have arrested more child predators in this nation than we have in a very long time, with some of the top 10 most wanted on the FBI list, and those that have been online doing things they shouldn't have been doing. That doesn't make the headlines in the news because Democrats want to still pass off this whole thing about Donald Trump being involved with Epstein and being a pedophile himself and all this other garbage. So they don't report these stories. But we have seen, along with other crime rates going to dramatically 100-year lows for homicides and robberies and everything else in this nation right now, that we've also arrested more child predators in this country than we have in at least a couple decades. And I see that as a win. Anna Polina Luna speaking just today, talking about how she's met with many of the Epstein survivors, and they're still pushing to try and have them testify, which apparently some Democrats don't want to happen.
The biggest thing that stands out to me is the victims themselves have stated that this is a lot bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also following up on that.
More information coming out. We're in the age of disclosure in the sense of more facts and the corruption going on from behind the scenes coming to face, and we can start dealing with how we're going to handle it moving forward. Lots more coming up.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, reason, common sense, rationale. It's just what we do here on the program, especially for a Friday, getting you setting that tone for the weekend. I know you were excited about that. Do not miss our weekend edition, the Monster, if you want to call it the Monster broadcast. I don't like to steal that. That was Mark Walters, Armed American Radio, so we're going to have to find a different term for the massive weekend show. But we are live this weekend, and I have a special guest for you. Can I tell you? Should I tease it right now? Why the heck not? So, all right. Next week, in the city of Wichita, where I'm based out of with our flagship, the organization Kansans for Life, they have their annual banquet that they have every year. Great fundraiser, getting us set for midterm election season and fighting for pro-life values here in the state of Kansas. Their keynote speaker is a name that you know, and I'm sure that you enjoy watching on one of the networks that you predominantly probably don't enjoy watching, but you enjoy him rattling that cage. Scott Jennings from CNN. He's going to be the keynote speaker, and he's on our syndicated program this weekend with us.
Say what?
So really excited about that. Do not miss it. We'll be chatting with Scott Jennings of CNN, also the Scott Jennings Radio Show, and author of his book and so much more. We'll chat with him about some of the happenings and current events of the day. So looking forward to chatting with Scott on that. Don't miss that. That'll be on our syndicated program this weekend, and looking forward to that one. All right, that being said, if you want more information on the show, find us on our website, HooserReason.com. Our newsletter is not coming out this coming Monday, but the following Monday. The first Monday of every month is when our newsletter comes out. Announcements of new partners on the show, new affiliates on the show, and so much more. So don't miss that. When you go to the website, HooserReason.com, it'll ask, do you want to become a Hoosierholic? And you say, yes, I do. Sign up, totally free. We do not spam you all the time. Just go check it out once a month on HooserReason.com. All right, real quick, I want to shift gears here outside of the child trafficking and the transgender issue. That's kind of heavy, a little bit frustrating for a Friday. There is some interesting news coming out.
What's trending today?
Donald Trump signing another executive order on the health movement and now lowering more pharmaceutical prices on top of what he's done with Trump RX today.
With this announcement, 17 of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, representing 80% of the branded drug market, have now agreed to sell their drugs to American patients at the lowest prices anywhere in the world. We're going to have the lowest prices in the world. This will result in the largest drop in prescription drug prices in the history of the United States of America. It should be front page news, but it won't be. It'll be back on page 19, but the people get it. That's why we're in the Oval Office, I guess.
All right. So he's right. I mean, they don't give him credit for anything, which is why everything's all negative. The economy, we're about to die with the economy right now,
We're
right?
all gonna die because of you!
Yeah, that's what they try to pitch us. But some big news here. So pharmaceutical prices dropping. Those that are maybe struggling economically right now, you're going to see your pharmaceutical prices go down. On top of, by the way, the Trump RX movement by trying to get rid of some of the middlemen and giving you better pharmaceutical prices in general, telling all of these, 17 different pharmaceutical companies that you need to lower these prices. Where you're selling it at cheaper rates across the world, you're going to be doing the same here in the United States, on top of all the MAHA reforms that we've done, which is really exciting. So get ready, big wins. Republicans, hint, hint, wink, wink, as you're going. See, I look like I'm having a stroke on the video cam when I do that, but I am winking. I promise. Republicans, if you're on the campaign trail, these are things to campaign on. The wins. And there's an interesting question on, do you campaign on wins that you've done in the past or the agenda that you want to do moving forward? And I know political strategists always kind of battle that which direction that you go. You need to do a little bit of both, Republicans. And right now, I know in Congress, you're having a difficult time saying, look at all the wins that we've done, because 90% of the wins have been from the Trump administration themselves and through executive order. So if you do a reconciliation bill, hopefully that doesn't include the funding of transgender operations and therapies for minors in this country, because that's kind of stupid. If you are going to do a reconciliation bill, throw a bunch of the codifying of Trump's agenda in there. And then you can campaign on, look at what we've done and look at what we would continue to want to do. I think that's a big win, and they should probably focus on that. But the time's ticking, my friends. We're running out of time on that one. Speaking of the MAHA movement, did you know there is a new term out there? Have you heard of, and are you doing MAHA maxing?
Say what?
Apparently, according to RFK Jr., he has now come out with the term MAHA maxing, when a Make America Healthy Again isn't just a slogan, it's a lifestyle. Your groceries look like they come from the earth, not a lab. You're ending chronic disease by taking back your health, by taking this seriously. MAHA maxing. That is the new term, and I have to give major props to RFK. Between the AI videos and the trolling and him out there drinking raw milk and going shirtless and doing all these challenges of doing push-ups and chin-ups, creating a new term of MAHA maxing. This is PR genius, and this is what government should be doing. Educating us, not regulating us, and I think that's the best way to do it. Well done, RFK. We'll talk some more about that this weekend. Until then, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you back on the radio before you know it. It is The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio soon. Bye.
For too long, Washington has said no to builders, workers, and American families, and yes to bureaucracy, delay, and special interests. Let's flip